All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from Colombia. On behalf of the EVO coordinating team, we want to thank you for joining us for today's Best of EVO 2021 sessions. And for those of you who might be new to Electronic Village Online, this is part of the call is of TESOL, and we offer 5-week sessions from early January to mid-February. These sessions are absolutely free. They are provided by passionate educators around the world who want to give back to English teachers with a number of wonderful topics. So today we'll be listening to 2 of these sessions, which are Grammar for TESOL and Classroom-Based Research for Professional Development. I did not introduce myself. My name is Marta Ramirez. I'm one of the coordinators of this session. And I will be moderating along with Dr. Nelly Deutsch and with Natasha, or yeah. Natasha.
Yeah, Natasha. Natasha Božić-Grojić, I'd better say it.
And so, yeah. And so we will be basically just guiding today's session, checking questions in the chat. Each of the sessions will have 20 minutes to present, and at the end of both presentations, then we will have time for questions, more or less 5 minutes for each session. We might have a little more, but we'll see. We'll see how time allows us to answer all of these questions. So without further ado, I'm going to, just give the space to Grammar for TESOL, and we'll let you know about timing. So when you're ready, I will stop sharing over here.
Okay, so let me share my slide here. All right, is it visible now, I think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to start by thanking the entire EVO moderating team. And I would like to congratulate all of us on the 20th anniversary of EVO. I will be talking about Grammar for TESOL and specifically looking at, let me just turn the slide here. Yeah, so specifically looking at some practices that I and the moderating team felt that were very rewarding when it comes to online professional development. And the presentation will be, the outline is, I will first introduce the moderating team, give you a quick glance about Grammar for TESOL. I will then go into those promising practices that worked very well for us, maybe focusing on 2 in detail. And then we're going to have some reflections on our part. I'm looking for my, my other co-moderator, but I don't think he's here yet, so we'll see. All right, so my name is Nagla Selim. I'm talking to you from Toronto, Canada. And I'm the lead moderator for Grammar for TESOL. I started with EVO 3 years ago as a participant in one of Dr. Nelly Deutsch's sessions, Moodle for Teachers. And the following year, I proposed Grammar for TESOL, and Nelly kindly offered me a space on her Moodle site. And she's been very supportive ever since with anything related to Moodle. So thank you very much, Nelly, for all your support. And we also have Masahito Watanabe. So I hope Wata is here. Let's see. It's very late in Japan now, but he said he would try his best to make it. So we'll see. So Wata is a university lecturer from Japan. He's also coordinator of the English curriculum of the 1st and 2nd year. So I just thought to introduce him. I'm not sure if, okay. All right, so moving on, for Grammar for TESOL, very quickly, the session objectives were to get participants to reflect on and share their beliefs about learning and teaching grammar, to acquire some foundational knowledge related to grammar and pedagogical grammar, and then apply their understanding of this knowledge through grammar-focused lesson planning and instructional activities, and also practice grammar-related error correction and provision of feedback. And then finally, they get to set professional development goals related to what was covered in the session. So basically, if you look at the weekly focus here, the weekly contents of like weeks 1 and 2, we're mostly looking at teacher cognition, what kind of beliefs teachers have about their grammar instruction. And the second week was focused on teacher knowledge, different aspects of teacher knowledge, looking at grammar, pedagogical knowledge, content knowledge in general, pedagogical knowledge, and also knowledge of learners. Weeks 3 and 4 were geared towards looking at, again, creating lesson plans and instructional activities. And week 4, as we said, they get to work on error correction. Week 5 was a session wrap up where, again, they got to look ahead and see what they're going to do next. So for Grammar for TESOL this year, we had participants from many countries. They were 77 in total. They came from Argentina, Belarus, China, Ecuador, India, Japan, Morocco, Russia, Tunisia, Ukraine, and the US. Many countries. Also various level of experience. Some of them were novice teachers, others where they had 20+ experience of teaching. And they also had different teaching contexts. So some were EFL or ESL, university, college English, others did one-on-one tutoring, and their learners belonged to different age groups. Mostly they were teaching face-to-face, but because of the pandemic situation, they transitioned to a virtual format. So the promising practices that we felt worked very well and were conducive to what we feel was a successful PD experience were encouraging continuous reflection, catering for participant diversity, fostering social interaction, and offering participation supports. To begin with encouraging continuous reflection, we got from the start, they start looking at their own understanding of grammar, and we get them to think about metaphors for grammar. So this is a grammar metaphor Padlet that they get to participate in, and we encourage them to think about a metaphor or an image that they feel represents grammar, whether it's learning grammar or teaching grammar or just grammar per se, and they get to explain that metaphor. So again, getting them to think about what grammar stands for them. We also utilized surveys. In weeks 1 and 4, we got them to respond to surveys for week 1, looking at their grammar teaching beliefs. Do they feel comfortable teaching grammar explicitly or implicitly? Do they get their students to explore or like, again, get into like problem-solving approach to learning grammar. And also when it comes to their thoughts on error correction, they got to respond to those surveys. But the way we handled the surveys, it's reflected, I think, on the slide here with the images. So they responded to the survey, each one individually looking introspectively at their own beliefs and their own cognition. And then we get to publish the results. Of course, the surveys are anonymous, but then we show all the results, whether like all the percentages and the pie charts and the comments and everything. And then we publish those results on a discussion forum, and they get to respond and reflect on those results. And the feedback we got about that particular practice was very encouraging, because a lot of them said things like, it's good and educational for me to read other professionals' opinion, my conceptions were broadened. Survey result is eye-opening and gives me new perception to look towards the error correction. I'm convinced that survey results are of high importance because we need to be aware about other teachers' opinion concerning error correction. So again, reflection, and also so individually, but also more like a collective approach as well, and responding to other teachers' beliefs. So just a quick comment here about why is this we felt was a good idea, because specifically when it comes to grammar, some teachers may lack the confidence to teach grammar rules or to get their students to integrate grammar knowledge into their learning of the language. So when we become reflective teachers, we ourselves become more aware of our instructional practices, and this gets us to improve our practices or change them. We cannot really change something that we're not aware of. So this eventually leads us to be more confident teachers. And as confident teachers, when it comes to grammar, we can scaffold and we can support learner reflection. And again, with learning grammar, this is what learners need to do. They need to think about grammar, not just as rules, but why am I using this, and for what function, for what meaning? So to develop that sense of, again, approaching grammar in a more like a problem-solving way. And of course, this leads to more confident learners. I think I got a little carried away with all those arrows, but I think they explain the rationale. With the reflection, it goes on about not just about their own beliefs, but also about the content of the session, also how the activities are taking place. So we ask them to provide a mid-session check-in. All the time, they're encouraged and invited to reflect on their tasks, the way, like when they complete a certain task or an activity, they're always invited to explicate, to give an explanation, to show that this has been, again, thought about, and it's it's an informed decision and informed practice. Towards the end of the session, we ask them to reflect on the PD experience of Grammar for TESOL. And they create word cloud reflections, and then we get them to also tell us why some words, for example, are more prominent than others in their word clouds. And you can see that for some participants, maybe error correction stood out as something that was quite informative to them and got them to think about the way they're making corrections and providing feedback. The second practice was catering for participant diversity. So we had diverse, and last year as well, we had diverse self-identified professional development goals and needs provided to us with, like, as soon as we see the introduction forum, we know that each participant is coming in with a different need, or some have similar needs. We can discern some commonalities there. They have also various teaching contexts, and of course this means various commitments and time constraints. Also, some can come with varying levels of digital confidence, so some are, even with the switch to online learning and online teaching, some are still not as comfortable with online tools as others. So just to show you some of the needs as they are presented in the introductions forum. So some of them they say, I want to refresh my knowledge. I want to reflect on ways of making my lessons more engaging and meaningful. Others, for example, are looking at online tools. Yeah, my key interest is online tools for introducing basic to advanced levels of grammar. Others still looking at their specific context, so academic writing, how that they want to incorporate grammar instruction into their academic writing classes. So various needs and various self-identified PD goals. So in addition, of course, to their needs, they have, as I said, like different teaching contexts and different skills and so on. So what we did was that we aimed to provide a diversity of relevant resources. So the text we offered on Grammar for TESOL varied in length and complexity, from a teacher-friendly, peer-reviewed research article, for example, offered alongside with a blog entry. Multimodal presentation of content, so we had readings, we had videos, online resources that were some were more specialized than others to cater to different needs, and online learning materials were chosen to also, they embedded in them, there were some practical considerations and hands-on activities and real-life observations. We also offered multiple options for demonstrating learning. So they were invited to use audio or video, to use text. We also offered choice, lots of opportunities for them to choose, let's say, certain grammar points, a certain specific sort of aspect that they may feel that they need to improve on. And we also offered extensions and options just to cater to their time constraints. The third practice was fostering social interaction and collaboration. So we made sure that we encourage participants all the time to share their insights. And that was represented through many activities. So we had collaborative reading. I'll be talking a little bit more about that. For Padlets and Moodle discussions, they were always encouraged to comment on each other's work, share resources, and also for completion of activities, they were required to respond to someone else's work, and let's say someone else's lesson plan or how they handled error correction and so on. So this is an example of a collaborative reading. We didn't really use a specific tool for that. We just used a Google form. And that Google form, we had the article in it, and all they had to do was just insert and then comment, and it proved to be very successful, pretty straightforward and intuitive. And then finally, offering participant support. So that was done either synchronously or asynchronously. Every week we met live on Sundays, where I had provided a summary for all the previous week's activities. We talked about them, we looked back, and then we also looked forward at the upcoming weekly activities. Asynchronously, we created screencast-o-matic recordings. The session support forum was quite busy, and it was not just for technical support, but also for any content questions that participants may have had, asking about, okay, so what's the difference between grammar knowledge or grammar content knowledge and pedagogical knowledge? And so we had to explain that as well. We offered prompt response to participants' posts and completing activities, giving personalized feedback with suggestions for online tools, some articles if they were interested into looking at some research and so on. So let me just check if Wata is here, because this is what is part. Okay,
no, he's not here.
He's not here. Okay, so
No.
you know what? That's fine. It's quite late in Japan now, so I'll be. All right, so someone said something in the chat box. Okay, thank you. All right, so I will be talking on behalf of Wata today. So just to tell you how it all started. So Wata was a participant in last year's Grammar for TESOL. And I invited him to co-moderate this year's Grammar for TESOL with me. So it was a great opportunity for both of us to work together. And it was interesting how he first started by talking about how I'm not very comfortable with live sessions, and I don't think I will be attending the weekly live synchronous meetings. But he did, and he was wonderful, and he interacted well with all the participants who came for the live sessions, and he contributed a lot to our session. And I was hoping that he would also tell you about how he himself redefined his error correction strategies from just by discussing that with the other teachers and participants. I'm almost done. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so again, we reflect as moderators, as participants, as teachers. So for us, things that we would like to include in EVO 22 Grammar for TESOL is to maybe look at some other options for weekly content, maybe freely available recorded webinars, inviting guest speakers. We haven't really started that, so this is something that we were looking into. Providing during the live sessions to provide hands-on practice with online tools, and maybe offer some case studies or scenario-based questions. And then finally, this is an area for improvement, is encourage group collaboration. So we only had 2 groups working together. We were hoping for more. But we understand because of time constraints and so on. But I think I was looking at your recording the other day. Actually, yes, it was the Flipgrid recording that you presented, Nelly, on the session tools for collaboration. You said you had that Padlet to get participants to provide their time zones and the names and so on. So this is something that I hope I can look into for next year.
It was a
Thank you very
teaming up.
much.
Sorry,
Oh.
it was a teaming up task. They teamed
okay.
up that way.
All right, excellent. So I will look into that. I'll steal that from you. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much. And I think I'm going to stop the sharing now, unless you have questions. Maybe I can, okay, let's see.
Yeah, I just want to say that this was lovely, and we were even commenting on that in the main group. We could have listened to you for hours, but sadly,
Thank you so much.
Time is limited. But this was really lovely. So just
thank you
wanted to
very
say
much.
that.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Nagla. We're gonna give the floor to the classroom-based research for professional development session, and then towards the end we'll have the questions for both sessions, so we can make sure we have enough time to answer questions and to present. Okay, so if you have any questions for this session, you can write it in the chat and we'll take note, or you could just take the mic, but at the end. Okay, so welcome classroom-based research for professional development session. I know there are many here who are going to present today.
Okay. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Could I share my screen, Martha? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
You should be able to.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. It seems that I cannot do it.
Mariana, your co-host, so you can do anything.
Oh yes, but you know what?
Unless you have 2 accounts, I don't know. Oh, you only have 1.
Okay. Well, it was the slide related to our workshop, but
do you see the green? Do you see the
yes.
green arrow point? So just click on it.
Yeah, I'm doing. Oh, okay.
And
now it's possible.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let's see if you can see it now. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank
Over
you.
to you, Ruben.
Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to be here together with Mariana and our group of part of the team of moderators of the workshop, classroom-based research for professional development. What you can see in the slide is our initial poster to disseminate the information about the workshop. And in the photos, well, this is us, yes, the team of moderators and lead moderators, yes. The rest you are familiar with the dates, etc. But we would also like to thank, well, all the EVO team, yes, for all the help and guidance, yes, for the preparation of the workshop, for all the, all the queries we had, they were responded, well, to Martha, who is here, Nelly, who is here too, to Christine, and all the other moderators in the team. We are going to present in a dialogical or conversational style with the participation of, of Mariana and myself, and with some of the moderators here that are present, yes, in the room, so that you can get information about our workshop in the EVO 2021. So maybe, Mariana, you can stop sharing so that we can see each other. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Right. Okay. So, as I said, Mariana and moderators, let's tell the audience about our EVO sessions last January, February. Yes, to let the audience know what the classroom-based research for professional development workshop was about. So Mariana, could you tell us something about it? What was this workshop about?
Yes, thank you, Ben. Well, this EVO project aims at empowering the teachers to conduct research related to their problems in their own classrooms. We invite attendees to design and to implement their research projects under the guidance of our moderators and to share them in our online community. It was a wonderful experience. Ruben, I would like you to tell us about the aims of a classroom-based research for professional development project. Tell us all about it.
The main aim was to guide and to mentor participating teachers towards the exploratory action research process, and to show them that classroom-based research differs from academic research, formal research in many aspects. Basically, the main difference is that this type of research, I mean classroom-based research, is more a bottom-up process, in the sense that teachers start investigating their own classrooms, their own students, their own context, yes, and then they get to the results. So it's different from a more top-down formal academic research where other scholars research, and then teachers, we read about their research and try to implement. So in a way, it goes in the opposite direction. Yes, starting again from the particular context of each particular teacher, unique teacher, right? So the idea is the aim is to help them, the teachers, I mean, to mentor them in the different stages of this exploratory action research process, and in deciding, the instruments that they can use to do their explorations and research, how they can collect and analyze the data, and also, how then they can share their results with the community of practice of teachers, no? And this is an important stage in the process, sharing with others. And therefore, for us, lead moderators, and for the mentors, we expected teachers to feel safe in these EVO sessions, in the sense that we were not asking them, or they were not expected to do formal research, yes, but on the contrary, yes, to start with what they know about their context and then explore. And the role of the moderators and the mentors was key, because they guided, they supported, they scaffolded teachers in the process, right? So, but for you to know something else about the workshop, because these were the general objectives, maybe Mariana, you can describe a bit the workshop. What was it about? Yes, the different stages of the workshop.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ruben. Okay, our attendees have the possibility, and they had the possibility of implementing their research projects. But before that, they were encouraged to make to write the answers to our weekly, related to our weekly tasks, and to upload them into or to our interactive space. We also encouraged our participants to read, to make comments, to give feedback on other teachers' posts. Yes, as part of this professional learning community of practice. Yes, I remember that, for example, during week 2, participants were invited to identify a focus and research questions. During week 3, we asked them and we invited them to think about what topic they would like to explore, what evidence they would like to collect related to that topic, and when they would collect that evidence. During week 4, our participants gathered that evidence, then they interpreted and analyzed that evidence, and during week 5, they shared their findings and what they had learned. We also invited participants to share their research projects, their exploratory research projects during our round of webinar, which we held last Saturday on March the 21st. At the end of every week, attendees were encouraged to participate or to watch the recordings of the webinars. Every Saturday, there was a webinar every Saturday or during the week. Everything was organized. And as I said before, if they could not attend it, okay, they had the possibility of watching the recording. Our interactive space this year was Canvas, and content was also shared in our Weebly site. This year we had different guest speakers like Mark Wyatt, Emily Edwards, Gary Barquizan, Kenan Tigelitas, Ann Burns, Dr. Richard Smith. And at the end of every webinar, there was a question and answer section, so our participants could interact with those guests. And as I said before, then we are going to talk a little bit more about the round of webinar with very, very insightful presentations. We also encouraged participants to join specific platforms or networks such as our EVO Facebook group or Teaching English for Large Classes network, the TESOL Research SIG, and also to keep in touch with us and to report back about the progress of their research projects. Yes. I would like now to ask Ruben about, our last session, and I would like him to share with you the length of our workshop this year, and also about the number of participants who took part. Over to you, Ruben.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. Well, you probably know that the EVO session was 5 weeks long. Yes,
Yeah.
parts in January and parts in February. And there were around 1,000 participants, teachers enrolled. So a huge number, although not all of them participated fully, yes, in the workshop. And they were from a variety of regions in the world, yes, from different countries, such as, well, India, countries in Latin America, Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, right? From many different contexts, cultural context as well. But what we always say when discussing the workshop and the participants and the interactions is that teachers always, in all the sessions, all the EVO sessions each year, they are from many, many different cultural backgrounds. But what we share in common is, well, first, that we are teachers, professionals, and also that we share the passion for teachers, yes, and for our learners. So this is common all over the world, okay? And this is great because wherever teachers are, we seems to be in the same context in a way, right? So this is great, right? So I think that these EVO sessions is good because a good meeting point, yes, for teachers to inquire, to share, to learn from one another, right?
Absolutely, Ruben. A real community of practice, learning from each other, learning with others. Absolutely. Lots of comments from, well, Nelly, Natasha in the chat related to what you are saying. And I can see Nagla, yes, and okay, smiling when you were saying those words. Yes, Ruben, I would like to share with the audience the team of moderators, especially because at the very beginning you mentioned who the lead moderators were. So who were our international team of moderators?
A group of 11 moderators, yes, and 3 lead moderators, right? Among the moderators, and I would like to mention something that Nelly wrote in the chat box in the previous presentation, that it's great when participants, participating teachers in the EVOs, then become moderators. And here we have Sydney, who has been one of them, yes, first participating as a teacher, right? And then we invited him to be part of the mentor team. So the names were, well, Jimmy Riojas from, also the moderators came from a variety of contexts and countries, like Jimmy Riojas from Peru, Esther Vázquez, Pilar Martínez, Silvia Severino, and Ana Otero from Argentina, Erkan Arkin, who is here also with us from Cyprus, SS Crisole from Italy, Pinar Oslemir Aybar and Aysegul Salih from Turkey, Sandeep Shabbat from India, and Sydney Martin from, well, based in Spain, but originally from Australia. Is that right? No? Okay. And well, and the 3 lead moderators, Asli Saklam, Mariana, and myself, right? Okay. So talking about you, Sydney, could you tell us then why you were invited to be a moderator in the workshop, and how did you accept, how will you welcome the invitation?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Ruben. Actually, I had participated in this workshop a couple of times as an attendee. So I knew from experience what kind of tasks were carried out and what kind of feedback was expected. So I guess that I was invited for all these reasons, apart from being a teacher who loves solving didactic puzzles while you're teaching. Since I think that classroom-based research is key to teacher development, I just accepted their invitation to become a moderator. It was great.
Okay, thank you, Sydney. Yes, I like that of the didactic puzzles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Another name for research. Yes.
You're right. Yeah. More attractive.
Well, I would also like to read, in fact, Esther Vázquez's comment in answer to this question, because she couldn't make it to be here today. But Esther says, in answer to, well, how she welcomed the invitation and how she was invited. Yes, she says, Esther says, I firmly believe in the relevance and richness of classroom-based teacher research, since it promotes better teaching and learning practices, and I am part of a team of teachers in Argentina who belongs to the APIVA Teacher Association, together with Mariana and me and Ruben. I believe they kind of invited me to participate since they must have perceived my enthusiasm about classroom-based research teacher. And I was delighted to accept the challenge, Esther says, because it was her first experience as a mentor at the EVO. And Esther highlights that I am profoundly thankful for the kind invitation. Right?
Mm. Thank you, Ruben. I would like to ask a question to Pilar and to Sylvia very briefly, because they are telling me that only 5 minutes are left. So I would like to ask Pilar and then to Sylvia about the challenges that you faced while participating as moderators in this workshop. Tell us very, very briefly, Pilar and Sylvia.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, firstly, I guess that keeping interaction alive is one of the big challenges that we mentors face. The number of dropouts, it's a big question mark, and it's a big worry, really. So I think that to be able to sustain participants' interest and being able to provide relevant feedback, which may help participants to build on that feedback in order to contribute to their own explorations, is the biggest challenge. I think that's, in a way, sums it up.
Thank you, Pilar. And Sylvia?
Okay, well, to me, cultural diversity was an interesting and challenge for me because the participants came from different countries with their obviously unique and particular teaching contexts. I wondered if I'd be able to understand their realities and worries in order to collaborate as a moderator during the workshop and encourage these participants to carry out and go ahead with their exploratory action research plans. Also, the short period to conceive a project and start its implementation in the classroom were issues of concern to me. But fortunately, the dynamic and friendly interaction during this 5-week workshop let most participants achieve their goals, or at least some of them, and feel empowered to go on with their projects in the classroom. Well, that's it.
Thank you very, very much, Sylvia. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I would like to ask Erkam very briefly again, because 2 minutes are left only, about the successes he celebrates after having been one of our moderators.
All right.
Erkam, over to you.
I mean, lots of things to celebrate, actually. I mean, it was a great experience for me. And I do celebrate this as a unique experience, joining in this great EVO community and finding the opportunity to be able to contribute as a moderator, but more importantly, learning from the unique contextual, the factors and the impacts on the learning and teaching process. It was a great learning experience, an experience that I wouldn't observe and see and hear about and contribute, because I have my own contextual experience. I'm a teacher and teacher trainer for years, but that was a unique experience. And the things that got my attention was the remarkable team spirit of the team lead moderators, Mariana, Ruben, and Asla, thank you very much. And the spirit and the support we received from the other moderators. I mean, I felt anxious at the beginning, to be honest, because it was a new experience, but to the commands and the suggestions that I offered to the teacher colleagues, then the positive and affirmative support that I received from the other moderators was also a good kind of like a good sign of the team spirit there, and the help and support, not only to the teaching colleagues, but all support among the moderators as well. So that was also a great thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Erkam. Ruben, Yes, could you tell us briefly about our future plans, please?
Yes, before that, I would like to mention that on the 21st of March, last Saturday, as Mariana mentioned, we had the presentation of some of the outcomes of the participants, and they were great. Then maybe we can share the links to the video so that if someone is interested in watching them, they can access to them. Yes, okay. The futures, well, the idea is to continue developing this community of practice that started in each session of the EVO with teachers, yes, interacting, that is keeping track of what they are doing, yes, how they are doing, if they continue with their explorations, and also to reflect, yes, on the EVO and the session and all the positive aspects and maybe some aspects we have to improve, yes, as Pilar mentioned some of them. So that's the idea. And also to work for the rest of the year in connection with exploratory action research and classroom-based research for professional development, being part of the International Teaching Festival, or Teacher Festival, that is being organized by Dr. Richard Smith, and that it will have a lot of events during the whole year in relation to exploratory action research, right? So we have a future ahead.
Thank you very much, Ruben. We would like to thank the Best of EVO 21 organizing team, our guest speakers, Dr. Richard Smith, Seden Tushan, Ellie Bex, who is here with us today, for their continuing support. Yes, I can see Sydney clapping, yes. Our team of international moderators, yes, and our participants. As Ruben said, we would like to invite you to our the International Teacher Festival and to future classroom-based research for professional development workshops, and to be part of our community of practice. Thank you very much, Best of EVO 2021 organizing team. Over to you, Martha, Nelly.
Thank you very much for that
Okay.
wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to share my screen, and then Natasha will take the floor.
So first of all, thank you for this wonderful team presentation. I can see how you all work well together. And thank you all for coming to this and for presenting your sessions. This is a special year because, as you know, we are celebrating 20 years of EVO, and we are all looking forward to our like special event in May, which will be I mean, you will be informed about our 20th anniversary event, and we welcome you, and we would like you to participate. Okay, so let us start the Q&A. So would somebody like, sorry.
I'm going to put a timer. I'm going to put 9 minutes. Let's see if we're right on time. Yeah. So you can see it on the screen, and we know how much time we have left, so we can finish everything on time.
Yeah. So anyway, would you just like to grab the mic?
May I?
I suppose that would be the best. Yes. Okay, Ruben.
Yes, okay, thank you. Well, congratulations, Nala, for your workshop, yes, together with your colleague and your presentation. The topic of your EVO session is quite an issue, because grammar teaching, yes, in TESOL, or English as a foreign language, yes, is not always well seen, let's say, yes, or accepted by some teachers or students rather. But so it's good to have a space to discuss this issue of, yes, how to teach grammar and how to deal with errors. My question, Nagla, is specifically about if you adopted a specific perspective to grammar teaching, maybe, for example, if it was related to traditional grammar or to a more systemic functional grammar view of the language or any other, or it was just what teachers brought to the EVO to discuss.
Great question. Thank you, Ruben. Now, as far as like we made it clear from the start that as far as the different approaches to grammar and theories and so on, there's nothing that should be followed. So everyone is just catering to their own context. And what we have also found that even within, like for the same teacher, you can be adopting, you can be using grammar terminology in one context, but then you decide for another teaching context, you're not using grammar terminology and you have a different approach. So the conclusion was nothing really about grammar teaching is sort of generalizable. So we didn't really recommend a certain approach. It was like more eclectic.
Thank you, Nagla.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So, some more questions?
Natasha, I would like to ask Ruben if he can share with us about the round of webinar we both mentioned. I would like him to talk a little bit about the Indian participants. Because that is a very, very interesting scheme, and I would like him to share with us a little bit of it. Over to you, Ruben.
Yes, this was a project based on classroom-based research or exploratory action research that that started as a result of a mentoring workshop led by Sedan Tuyan and Dr. Richard Smith and Eli Beques and Mariana Serra as well. And these teachers from India, from the district of Maharashtra, decided to start doing or mentoring rather groups of teachers interested in exploring their own classrooms. And well, the results were fantastic, I would say, because they developed all the stages of the exploratory action research process, and they started sharing, disseminating their results with other colleagues, not only locally but also internationally. So we are very proud of this team as well. And well, together, of course, with the other presentations that were part of the round of webinar, yes, last Saturday, yes, dealing with error correction, with speaking focus activities, among others topics, yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Ruben. As those participants from India were part of the Maharashtra project, as Ruben said, and some of them also attended our EVO workshop and asked us to make their presentations last Saturday. So it was very, very insightful presentations. It was wonderful to have them as well. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Can I ask something, because I was part of the mentoring course that we did with Mariana Sedan and Richard, and I was just wondering, listening to your presentation, Mariana and Ruben, I heard that you were talking about moderators and lead moderators. Did you not have a level of mentors? And if you didn't, was there a special reason for using this kind of terminology? Mariana, maybe, or Ruben, did you have a decision on this? Like not using the term mentoring or mentors, but moderators? I think there could be a reason for that, but I'm just guessing.
Okay.
In fact,
yes,
okay.
over to you, Ruben. It's okay.
No.
Over
Just
to you,
to
Ruben.
say that, in fact, Ellie, yes, we said moderators, but in fact, we were referring to mentors. Yes, because the epistemologically speaking, let's say, the mentoring or being a mentor implies more than just moderating. Yes, it's more than that. Yes, so the relationship mentor-mentee is different probably than a moderator and a teacher. Yes, I don't know if that is what you mean, Ellie, your question.
Basically, I was thinking that if you have a very short project, maybe the full scale of mentoring cannot be built up. And also it suggests to me a more equitable relationship than a mentor-mentee relationship. So I was trying to figure out if this was in your thinking.
Thank you very much for that question, Ellie, and for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. All right, I think now everyone is kind of afraid to start because time is running up. So shall we maybe start wrapping up? I mean, these were two such professional presentations. I'm so honored to be here with you today, and we all hope to see you. Yes, Marta is stopping that lovely timer. So we all hope to see you for our best of EVO, because we know you will be there because you're so passionate about EVO and about teaching and about sharing your knowledge. And this will be the time for us to celebrate and to enjoy ourselves. And I think we should all be very proud for doing what we do. So